Hello, welcome in. I am Lisa J. Stocks here with you for this week's Stock Talk episode. So,
At Granger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff.
okay, sorry about that. Welcome in. So, my daughter is not feeling good. I started off the day. I heard her in the kitchen this morning early, and I told her, be ready because I'm going to have you at the door of the walk-in when they open. We got there. We did get there when they opened, but there were already 3 people ahead of us out of their car. But she diagnosed herself. She said she had strep, and she was right. And we got her there. She got her antibiotic, and yeah, she doesn't feel good. So, but I had to get to the store for her after I finished, but I wanted to pop on because I had this scheduled. Hey, Marcus, thank you for uh, chatting. Let me see if I can get myself over here so I can also see what's going on. So, guys, it's a new month. It's June. I don't think I'm going to gift memberships today, but I want to keep on reminding you you have to have gifted membership turned on in your settings in order to receive my gifted memberships when I give them out if you are interested in receiving them. So, as I said, it's a new month and the markets are going to do what they want to do. We have no control. They're going to test our patience, but what we have to be focused on is having a strategy in order to reap the rewards no matter what is going on in the stock market. So, we can't control what the stock market does. We can only control our reaction to it. And as an investor, what I'm saying is try to make sure that we're taking advantage and coming out on the other side of all of the market volatility in a better place. So, I definitely have done this. And guys, as I said, welcome in. Uh, Make sure if you haven't already, give the live a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. If you're ready to open a new account, or if you are interested in becoming a channel member, all of those things are in the description of my videos. Um, let's get started with the topic of the day. So, stock market. I'm still working on building up my positions. I'm not a person that often adds new investments to my portfolio because I don't like to have small positions. I want to build up my share sizes. So it takes time. It takes time on my budget. These are additional investments that I'm doing in my taxable accounts outside of retirement, things that I want to have, uh, additional investments that I want to have so that I can tap into them when I want to, potentially long before retirement age, the true retirement age. So, with that, I'm always trying to build into my positions, like NVIDIA, for example. And I put out a short, and I just NVIDIA just had their earnings last week, Wednesday, I think it was. And, with that, I don't have it pulled up. Let's see. So I was going to pull up a few. Just want to share this as an example. Now, I do dollar cost average. Sometimes I have a schedule of, I'm going to take this stretch of time and I'm going to do $10 daily into this particular investment, no matter what the price point it is on this particular day. But in addition to that, I pair that with knowing putting in limit orders as well as setting alerts in my app. I usually set all of my alerts in my Webull app. That's my preference. Even if I'm going to buy it on a different platform, I get all of my alerts coming from Webull. And with that, I was able to catch NVIDIA when it was about less than $94 last month. Around 4.7 and 4.8, I did some extra investments because of what was going on at the stock market at the beginning of April with Liberation Day and all the ups and downs related to the tariffs. These are times that I have to have my eyes open to and take advantage of the market volatility, whatever's coming out of the White House, in order to like I said, what my goal is to build up my portfolio. And at the time, um, I was in the red on my NVIDIA position when I let me see, what is my well, this is after my investment, but I'm thinking even before I invested on I think it was around the 7th or 8th of last month, my NVIDIA average is currently $103.26. I think it was probably very similar to that before I've added these most recent shares. And what I'm saying is my portfolio was in the red when NVIDIA comes down into those low 90s. But NVIDIA is an investment that I want to hold long term. So even though I was already down, and I saw that I still said to myself, let me add a few full shares while it is down. And then by the time we got to earnings, the night of the earnings, it was $141. The current stock price is $135. So I have no crystal ball. I'm only using my judgment here. I'm just a regular person here, but this is a investment that I plan on holding long term. And even though the market was reacting to, like I said, everything that was going on with the tariffs and just news related to that, is there going to be extensions? Is there going to be any changes that come up? So with that, I saw the market was really tanking. A lot of my investments were severely down. Looking at my larger retirement accounts, for example, they were down tens of thousands of dollars. But I can't let that scare me. I have to be ready to hold on and deal with these times. And so, NVIDIA is one of those examples that I took advantage of that by, as I said, making sure to have my alerts set or having the limit order in completely to buy, one, two, three shares at a particular price. We have these things available to us. And, I always encouraging you to do your research, know what you're investing into before you don't just jump in. I'm not telling you to do this type of thing with hype stocks, things that are not established and well known. But if Microsoft, Nvidia, um, Meta, things that I want to have more of in my portfolio, when they're having a red day, if they're having a significant issue on a particular day, down over 3%, 4%, I'm ready to pick some up. So I was also able to do this with some of my ETFs, like VTI, for example. Let's see what the current price is. So VTI is back up to $489.88. But I got it last month at 248. So yeah, of course, um, I saw the potential. I saw my stocks are on sale, $50 off, $40 off, and I took advantage. Same thing with VOO. So whether it's individual stocks, you don't have to always for you guys who may not know, an ETF is exchange traded funds. It's a basket of stocks. You don't have to always, if you're getting started investing, know how to pick individual stocks and know how much of those individual stocks to have to invest into and build your portfolio from scratch by choosing those individual things. You can pick VTI, for example, which is the total US stock market. So if anyone was to ever ask me like something to get started with investing, that would be one of my first suggestions, because I don't think anyone should wait. If you've made the decision that you're going to get started with investing, you don't have to take time and do any deep research and put much thought into finding an ETF that gives broad diversification, low expense ratio, a few key points um, that uh, are easy and basic and not complicated. And there's no reason to wait when it comes to getting started with those type of investments. Now, when it comes to trading, when it comes to deciding what individual stocks, and as I said, how much of each to add to your portfolio, now that's going to take a bit more time and research and understanding. But whichever stage you're at, don't let it intimidate you. And I also always want to encourage everyone to not um, to not let the potential of investing pass you by, because I truly believe that it is one of the best ways in order to build wealth for yourself and for your family. So let me see. Let me see. All right. So, guys, thank you to all the new members to the channel. And I'm just going to talk about myself for a minute before I get back on topic. And let me just take a quick look at the chat and let's see who's here. Marcus, Boston, Fast Eddie, David. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce all the names that I'm seeing in here, but thanks for tuning in. Guys, let me know if you have any questions, because I really didn't, it's kind of an open discussion today, because like I said, at the beginning of the show, if you weren't here, my daughter's not feeling good, so I'm just popping on for a quick minute because I have to get to the store and pick her up some things. She has strep throat. But, I am just a regular person. I am a first generation born in the US, born to teenage parents. I then again was a teenage parent. So yeah, I was always in a pretty much an atmosphere where there wasn't much money. We were always just trying to get by, trying to stretch our dollars, using coupons, not having much. And when things came up, uh, related to if the car broke down or you run into an issue, you really felt it. I ran into a lot of credit card debt throughout my 20s, from those late teen years when I first got my credit cards, because I didn't finish college till I was like nearly 30. So working full time, but yeah, getting in over my head. I had a car, apartment, um, my first daughter to take care of at that time, and you know that's how life was, and I just didn't have the time. I didn't have the knowledge. I wasn't taught by my family and friends, or no one around me was talking about investing. I started working full time when I was 19 years old. And with that, I signed up. I was a part of my company's 401k. I was contributing, but I'm thankful that I was contributing. But at the same time, I wasn't in tune with it. I didn't have much of an understanding. I didn't couldn't tell you what I was investing into. I couldn't tell you what the performance was. And I'm glad now that I have a better understanding, and that my daughter and anyone that is around me that's willing to talk about it, I'm going to share with, so that they don't have to make the mistakes that I have. I have no idea how much money I've lost out on because the of not having an understanding of investing, of making sure to, as I got raises, even after, I graduated from college later in life, just making sure that I was increasing my contribution to my 401k, that I was checking on the performance, that I was making sure to maximize the potential instead of just kind of turning a blind eye to it. But I'm on track now, and I'm glad I am. And, I've made some moves, and I share that throughout my videos. But, I just, if there is anyone new here, I wanted to just continue to share these things, because I want everyone to know that investing is for them, and not to think that uh, it's anything too complicated. And if I can do it, I'm sure that everyone here listening can also. So, hey, Charlene and Rod, thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know if you have any questions. So, now, as I said, it's a new month, and we are still in uncertain times when it comes to the tariffs or anything that might come from the White House, from, these big industries, the biggest companies that kind of run the stock market, because they have the largest market cap. They're really the market movers. So we have to be ready for that. But at the same time, I'm not letting anything scare me out of investing. I'm not gonna uh, pull back. A pullback in the market does not mean that I'm going to sit here and sit on my hands and not invest. if anything, like I was already sharing, it could be the potential, the time for me to invest harder and heavier in order to make sure that I'm getting my investments at a discount because I know I'm holding long term and I can wait for them to recover. It's just a matter of me having done my research, having the confidence. Hello, guys. Can you guys hear me, see me? Can you let me know, please? I think you froze, sis, from Charlene. Same here. Are you able to see and hear me now? Let me know so I can know if I can continue or if I need to, yes, yes, I'm back. I'm back, Rod. Thank you. Okay. So, as I was talking about earlier, uh, I'm back. I'm back. Thank you. Thank you. Lisa, what is your favorite ETF? I I my favorite ETF. Well, I'm gonna talk about I'll share this with you. I don't have this in my portfolio because I didn't know about it when I got started building up my positions. Um, so I would say for in my taxable accounts or something that you could kind of invest into in many different places if you're not with a particular brokerage company. I would say SPLG might be uh, a good investment. I happen to do VOO and FXAIX. I do my FXAIX at Fidelity, and it has a lower expense ratio of 0.015. But um, while SPLG is 0.02, but I would say an S&P 500 ETF with a low expense ratio or mutual funds with a low expense ratio or VTI are my favorites. Okay, blessings. Thank you, Love Morgan, and everybody for letting me know that I am back. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with the Wi-Fi, but um, yeah, I just wanted to just jump on. It's a new month. Anyone who might not be investing to the max, taking advantage of the potential volatility that we might be facing again in these months, like we have been since the start of this year. Um, we have to just remember that 10 years from now, 5 years from now, down the road, we're not even gonna really remember how much was going on, when I think back to what was going on in 2008 with the stock market, I really could have taken advantage. With COVID and then in 2022, these are even more recent time frames that if I was open to investing heavier, if I was just saying the more recent times, they didn't pass me by. I had my I had a different money mindset and I was able to take advantage back in 2008. If I had taken advantage then, I would barely remember now how bad the market was looking. I could have just said it's time to invest more heavily because the US economy is going to recover. The real estate market is going to recover, and just thought about it like that. When I know it's hard, especially, depending on your age and where you're at in your investing journey. I'm talking about people that are retired or on the verge of retirement. That those are more stressful times to have to be thinking about, it's time for me to tap into my investment accounts. But if you're younger, if your retirement is not even, in your in sight yet for you, you have to then put the work into making sure that you're building up your retirement account now. Take care of your older self. Don't just think about tomorrow. I'm trying to think about the rest of my life. This is not a day-to-day thing that I go about building here. Hey, Judgment, thank you for tuning in. Um, Dominique, Stewart, 2008 was awful. I was inexperienced investor and pulled out. I did not pull out, but I did not add more. And that's what I want to, you know, bring to everyone's attention that um, I was talking about earlier. If you guys weren't in here at that time, I was talking about the beginning of last month, around the 7th and 8th, how I prioritize doing more investments, not just dollar cost averaging, not just giving investing a 10 or a 20. I picked up full shares of Nvidia and VTI and VOO because they were so much lower than the normal price. But these are some things that I have a long-term conviction in. And so I'm going to make sure to, as much as my budget will allow for, invest more heavily when I have the opportunity. The opportunity being volatility on the market and my preferred investments that I'm still working on building up being beaten down the way that they were. So let me see. Yeah, so as I guys, it's a new month. I just wanted to pop on and just encourage everyone to stay consistent. And if you're not investing already, or, focus on your retirement account first. That's my encouragement. That's why I always try to tell people to prioritize, even above your children's education and things like that. Depending on when you got started investing, you may not have the time to be supporting other types of education costs, investing for on behalf of your kids. You might not be in the place. You might have debt. You might have things that you need to prioritize for yourself. So when it comes to investing and saving and all these things, I always encourage prioritize yourself first, because who's going to take care of your older self? Are you making that deal with the kids that you're going to take care of me when I'm old? Or are you going to say, I need to have my retirement set in order to make sure that I can manage to take care of myself and not have to be working when I'm into my 70s? So, hey, Nija, thanks for tuning in. I see you, Rob, in the chat also. Um, all right. So yeah, just stay consistent. Don't chase hype stocks, in my opinion, especially if you're not an experienced investor or trader. And I think those are two things I always try when I'm making my videos or I'm on live. I always try to stress that those are two different things. And it's okay not to be a trader, not to want the responsibility of options trading or getting in and out of investments, regular trading, shares, and taking on that responsibility. I'm a regular person. Some days I am busy. I'm out. I know what it is. I am a mom. I know what it is to have to be out there, and you got to go to doctor's appointments. You got to get the stroller out the car, get the kid out of the car seat. Maybe you're helping your parents or something. You got to get the walker, the crutches, the wheelchair. When I'm out there and I'm doing all of those things, I then can't be watching the charts and watching my investments like a hawk, is what I'm saying. So Um, with that, I understand, and I only get into trades when I have the time and I know I can be responsible and mindful because whether it's investing and trading, I only have one goal here, and it is to make money, not lose money. So I have to make sure I'm in the right place, the right mindset, ready and prepared to handle it in the way that is going to have me on the better side at the end of it. So, um, and I'm not a I do a little bit of it all. I'm not against anyone. I'm not like one of those people that says like, "Oh, no, 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 you shouldn't trade, you shouldn't do options, you can lose all of your money." No, not me. I will never lose all of my money because I know how to navigate what I'm gonna get into. I know how to use my stop loss. I know how to mitigate my risk. If anything, when it comes to me and option trading, I keep my stop loss on too tight and don't ever get the potential large rewards that sometimes I miss out on, which happened to me last week. I made money, but I could have made more if I didn't have my stop loss too tight. But at the same time, I can't beat myself up about it because I have to do what's right for me, and I knew I couldn't risk losing, so I'll take the gain that I was able to achieve. So review your portfolio. If your investments are primarily just your 401k or IRA, even with that, make sure that you're in tune with what's going on over there, making sure that you're not being um, uh, getting high fees that you can avoid because these companies they do have a goal to make money too. So just because they have a lower cost option, they're not going to come and present it to you if you are invested into something with a higher fee associated with it. You have to have your eyes open, and you have to get out there and advocate for yourself when it comes to your investing, when it comes to your savings. You have to look at your bank accounts. Just the other week, I was sharing that I got hit with a $16 charge on one of my checking accounts. And, I had to get that figured out because I cannot, there's no reason for me to be paying a $16 fee every month. That is just a waste of money. So I had to transition that account over to Discover in order to avoid that fee. But if I wasn't paying attention, potentially, months would pass. And it's June 1st. This is a fresh start. We're not at the mid-year yet, but because I'm doing my live on the 1st, I just wanted to talk a little bit about, just if you haven't already, reviewing your budget, just getting on track, reviewing your investments if you haven't looked at them for a while, and being okay with making changes. I've been doing this Sunday live for over a year now, so I know I feel weird when I talk about things that I know I've talked about before, but I also have to always remember that there's always new people coming in and that don't know me. But I wait, let me take a look at the chat. Let me take a break. And again, everybody, thanks for tuning in. If you're not already, subscribe to the channel. I only talk about investments, budgeting, saving, investing for yourself, investing for your kids, those type of things here. If you enjoy that type of content, please subscribe to the channel. Give the live a thumbs up. I see let's see. I see I have 26 thumbs up right now, and there's currently over 30 people in the chat. So can everybody give me a thumbs up? So Nigel's sharing that ATM fees are now $4.95. I got hit with one today, and I'm calling my bank to get my money back. Yes. Nigel, where were you? You weren't near your local bank? I luckily very rarely have to go to the ATM, but I try to make sure if I'm going someplace, do you take Apple Pay? Do you take Cash App? Right now, my actually the young lady that braids my hair, she had some issues with her Cash App, and so she is right now requiring cash or Apple Pay. So, um, yeah, I hate that. I hate that. Thank you, SBK. You telling me your thumbs up number 26? Gotta catch the beginning. Okay, thank you for that. I haven't used an ATM in so long. Yeah, it's very rare that I have to go, but, sometimes, yeah, it happens. But so, what was I saying? Yeah, new month. Let's try to get on track before we truly get to the middle of the year and get to the second half. Um, just be mindful of your budget, be mindful of your investments. If you're still in that building phase, be mindful of the volatility. Like I was sharing earlier, if you weren't in here at the time, I put my alerts in on my Webull account. And with that, I can put a dollar amount, whether it goes up or down by a certain to a particular dollar point that I want to put in there, or I can put it in by percentage. So I'll get an alert if, say, Main Street Capital drops by 3%. That doesn't happen very often, but it has happened. And on that day, even though it was not on my particular schedule to buy Main Street, when the price dropped, I made an adjustment and said, okay, we're going to add a full share today because the market has pulled back. So, indeed, it was casino level credit union. I need my money back. Naisha, you're gonna get your $5 back because you've been a long time customer. I That's something that I always try to tap into. With things like that, I'll ask. I'll ask if the cable company, if I get hit with a fee that I truly, feel that it was a mistake, or okay, I wasn't aware of that. Can you give me a one-time courtesy and take that off? I definitely will ask. If they say no, they say no, but I tried. Even if it is $5, I'll keep my $5. Um, so, mister, are you asking what is the downside of online banks? Nija, at least with credit unions, you can hopefully go in and talk to somebody. Yes. uh, so for me, let me see. I was getting money out for my cash envelope grocery budget. Okay, okay. Yeah, I really do not handle cash. And another thing in my reason that I ever have cash is that I'm always trying to strategically use my credit cards in order to get the cash back rewards and get the points rewards. And I don't do anything fancy with my points. I usually will just uh, either get gift cards and then be able to use my money in my checking account for other things, most likely investing or doing some other treat things for my household. Um, but it'll allow me to I'll just pick up gift cards for, like, Walmart or the gas station, things like that, and then I know that I can just go to the super Walmart, load up on the groceries and the paper products and all the laundry detergent and all that stuff, and I don't have to pay for it out of pocket for that particular month. And then the same difference with cashback rewards cards. Every once in a while, just cash out just get the cash moved over to my checking account, and then I can do whatever with it. So let me go back to this questions. I was referencing that online banks, you can't walk in and show your smiling face and build a relationship in person to settle issues. No, you can't. But I've had to pretty much resort to or transition to using my online banks because I want the higher interest rates. So, but I do still have my account at my local credit union, but not using it for much of anything. Right now, I think all of my money there is rolled into a CD that has a similar uh, rate that I would be getting at my in a high yield savings account. But overall, I can't. It's not about. I can't prioritize relationship right now. It is nice to physically go to a branch, a Bank of America or my credit union. They're very close to my house, but yeah, they're just not giving me that APY that I want, and I would have missed out on a lot of money if that wasn't something that I changed in my strategy. Okay, so Curtis likes core weave and QQQ. Okay, why QQQ instead of QQQM, Curtis? I do not invest into them, but I definitely hear a lot, and I've looked at them. Um, let's see. Sorry if guys, if I miss any questions, let me know. Taking a look back at the chat. You got a lot of trolls today. Yes, Rob, I have a lot of trolls today. Should I give you a wrench? Is anybody in here with a wrench to help me? People misbehaving. I'm trying not to acknowledge them. Stock David, what are you talking about? Show me the money. Oh dear. Okay. Online banking. Yes, online banking. Yes, it is a way just to get a little bit of that passive income that we should all not be leaving on the table. So, yeah, trying to go vertical. I need to make sure I have some mods in my chat. Let me know. Anybody want to I may be I know everybody can't be here every week, but let me know if you guys mind being a mod if you are here regularly. Rob, you ready for the wrench? Okay. Well, let me just let me yeah, I don't like that nonsense. It really gets me a little distracted. But guys, if you haven't already, give the live a thumbs up. Let me know if you have any requests or ideas or things that you would like me to share in my regular videos, as well as on my Sunday lives where, we can just kind of chat about different things. Something I seen in the news, I was going to try to make a segment of my Sunday lives. I've been thinking about this for the longest, but I just kind of not well, anyways, let me just tell you what it is. It would be like not stock talk. So it would be things that are money related, but not stock market related. And we kind of talk about the savings accounts, like we just were talking about the high yield savings account. But one thing that um, I was thinking about, and I've been seeing in the news, is um, about a lottery tickets. I know some lottery tickets that used to be $2, like Mega Millions and Powerball, are now $5 each. And they say that the lowest income group of people are the ones that spend the most on lottery tickets. And I think it's something I every once in a while indulge into at $2. I don't know if I can even really do it once now that it's gone up to 5, but it's something that I wish that wasn't as prevalent in low income areas and that we had our eyes open to what my main topic always is here, making sure to build wealth, making sure to invest and give it time to grow. Get those dividends, reinvest those dividends, build money in that way, and not feel like that's a gamble because overall, my portfolio, I have not if anything, everything is not perfect. Yes, I have made some bad investments. I have made some mistakes along the way, but the good outweighs the bad by so much more. When I think about investing, I definitely when I think back about over my whole investing history, I always feel like I wish I had invested more. Never that I wish I didn't. I wish I was never a part of this because it has been a way for me to really build up my wealth, especially not just with the stock market, with real estate, with all of the elements. I can't see how anyone could let this opportunity pass them by, even on no matter what your budget. I'm not saying, everyone has a different budget. Everyone lives in different cities. Some people, everyone has everybody's circumstances are going to be different. How many kids you have, what the rents and the mortgages, and when you purchased your home, what the interest rates were at that time. We're all dealing with a different budget, a different financial situation, but on your budget, make sure that you are investing and taking advantage of the market as much as possible. Um, Blue Owl Capital Corporation, I am not familiar with it. If anybody has anything to share with Eddie, you can go ahead and share that in the chat. Oh, dear. So, yeah. What stocks am I looking to trade this week? I am not looking to trade any particular individual stocks this week. If anything, I most likely will be trading the SPY. That is something I usually do on a weekly basis. It's not every week that I um, will do a trade of an individual stock. Is there such a thing as putting your money in too many places? Yeah, I think that all depends on what works for you. When I run down what I do in my own personal saving and investing, I sometimes feel like this might be overwhelming, and whoever's, that you might think that it's too much, but it's not too much for me. It's the right fit for me. So, like I I have multiple accounts at over at Discover. So I have, my daughter has an account, she has a CD. I have an account that's marked for, say, Christmas. I have an account that's marked for vacation. Um, or I have an account that's just marked emergency. But that's my personal preference. And when it comes to my investment accounts, I have my retirement accounts at Fidelity, but then I have 3 other brokerage accounts that I'm doing investments in that are, my taxable accounts that I can tap into when I want. For example, on Moomoo, that's where I do my passive income investments. So that's where I have my realty income and my SPHD, SCHD, my Main Street Capital. So my dividend focused investments. And then, like I said, I have 2 other accounts. But it's not too much for me, but you're the one who has to manage this and keep on top of everything, and your personal preference and what works for you is what matters. So my student bought me 3 scratch off tickets last week as an end of year gift. Apparently, he wants me to stop teaching. That was a nice little gift. So you're off for the summer, Nija. Do you teach summer school or have any extra side hustles that you do in the summertime? Okay, so what's going on here? Hi, Lisa. Nice to meet you virtually. On KGU, and I briefly messaged you recently. Okay. Nice to meet you too. Be busy. And I'm probably going to do a separate video for the Discord today because we are kicking off a new challenge over there. Let's see. Okay, let me see, Nija. Okay, Lisa, I'm glad I'm not the only crazy person that has 15 different bank accounts for different reasons. I also have 3 brokerage accounts as well for different reasons. Yeah, that's what you're comfortable with. That's what works for you. That's what works for me. But and I also do something else that I think that doesn't necessarily resonate with some people. They're like, why every day? I invest $10 daily into VTI. Sometimes I take other stretches of time and I've done investments, say, for example, $5 daily into Apple or Nvidia or Microsoft, for example. I've done stretches of time like that. And people are like, why daily? Why not? I've done a poll on my community wall before saying, how do you like to DCA? Is it daily? Is it daily, weekly, on payday? And yes, every other category besides daily. Daily was the lowest category that of people that responded to that. So I know that I'm a weirdo when it comes to that too, because I actually like to do daily small investments. And like I was sharing earlier on, at the same time, if I have money sitting in my investment account, if my budget will allow for it, on certain days because I am in tune with the price of my investments, whether it's the stocks or ETFs, that I'm going to take advantage of adding full shares at certain times when I feel like, yeah, this is the time to make sure to prioritize my investing. No summer school. I get my sanity back in the summer travel. Okay. You too. Yeah. So Nija, I know we when I was down there, it was you, right? It was you that when I was in Texas, we didn't get a chance to meet. And then I saw in your travel schedule that you shared last summer, you were in my neck of the woods, and I wish I would have known that you were over here because we could have maybe had a chance to meet. I think you were at a festival or something, not too far from where I'm at. But maybe one of these days I'll make it back to Texas and we will get a chance to meet. I have a robo investor account that steals $50 from me every Monday. It steals the money from you. Um, yeah, I haven't done any of robo investing. I definitely have done, I've definitely automated some of my investments. Webull was an easy platform for me to do that because you can set your investments to be automatic, and then every day at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it'll do it for you. So you just have to have a schedule of your deposit and then your investment. Whether you want to do it daily, weekly, or whatever, it will do it for you. Learning to hide money from yourself and make it hard to get to it works wonders, in my opinion. Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Once you have to not let the money sit. Get the money out of your checking account, get it allocated out to the different places, and then once it's in the Discover savings account or it's in the brokerage account, I'm not then gonna be thinking about, "Let me pull it out and do something else with it." So I'm looking at a comment here. I want to only trade. I want to only do trading. Let's see. It's hard. It's hard for me to manage both the job and trading. What should I do? I I if you can't manage it and you can't navigate it and you can't pay the proper attention to it, then I feel like you're setting yourself up to lose, and that's something that I don't want. So, either you have to, if it's I don't know what type of trading you're talking about, if it's options trades, you have to make sure you're getting the dates that are correspond to what you want. Your stop losses that's not gonna work in the after hours, so you have to do what works for you. When I'm at times, I was taking, I had some meetings for a certain amount of weeks. Monday through Thursday, I had this particular meeting that I was going to. So during those weeks, I did not do any trading unless I was able to do it in the afternoon when I was able to pay attention because, uh, as far as my options trading, I usually do it on Webull, which does not have a trailing stop loss. So I am the trailing stop loss. I have to be there and I have to take a look at my investment and my option, and I have to make the adjustments to it. So when I can't, when I feel like I'm unable to pay attention and put the work in that's needed, I'm just not gonna trade. You have a 9 to 5, there's nothing you can do about that. You have meetings, you have responsibilities during the day. I have to give 100% to my investments in order to not lose money. A few weeks ago, I had to pick up my daughter. Listen, I was just in my car and I wanted to get into a trade, and I found a nice little quiet place to pull over and stop and pay attention to the trade because I just, like, I couldn't. I put myself in the position that I was out, and, I put myself in the position that if you get into this trade, you're not gonna be able to drive because you're gonna need to be mindful of it. You're gonna need to move your stop loss, and so I was kinda stuck in the car out there for a little bit. But I was willing to do it, and I had the time, so I said, "It's okay." But okay, let me take a look. Free the cash. I'll be back there this summer, my plans for now. Oh, okay. Um, David, what are you talking about free the cash? How do you feel about SCHD in a custodial UTMA? SCHG, SCHG. I think that's a growth. Let me see. Um, I think that's one of the picks that I shared for my challenge, actually. Large cap growth ETF. I probably would definitely mix that with other ETFs. Maybe have that one as a smaller allocation than, for example, like a S&P 500, but I definitely would do it. But I for my daughter, I do 80% ETFs and 20% individual stocks. So that was, the plan that I decided to put in place for her. But yeah, I would definitely do a mix. And thank you for that super chat. I appreciate that. Um, Egaman? I don't know what type of currency that is, TRY, but thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Put your idle cash to work. Sock David. Okay, about to beef up my investments into SPYI, QQQI, nice monthly returns and holds share price. Yes, I think I checked out your video where you were talking about those two investments. Mister, I was so happy to receive them. You would have thought I already won something from them. I won nothing, but it was a very sweet thought. Yes, it is nice that your students gave you an end of the year little gift like that. I already have FSKAX in my son's UTMA account. I was going to add SCH. Okay. Yeah, I had started my daughter's account before I even though her account is at Fidelity, her UTMA and the Fidelity Youth account is over there. I hadn't discovered the I hadn't really done my research and got in tune with the Fidelity investments that are available. Um, so, but yeah, they have a lower expense ratio than the VTI and VOO. And if you know you're going to stay there, which I think I always am, I've had a good experience and like what I've been able to achieve over there as opposed to I had an account at Empowerment that I moved to Fidelity. So yes, I think that those are great choices. And they have some zero funds too, but I haven't gone over to them. Um, I'm headed out of here. Thank you, Rob, for reminding me to take a look at my chat for these people that are misbehaving today, and I hope I see you back over here again soon. So, yes, if you are in a good place with your investments, remember that even if you're not in a perfect place, I always say we still make time and make room for So much stuff, so much things, sweet 16s. I've been seeing, a lot of prom dresses and over the top spending related to prom lately and ring dance and all of these different things. Uh, Christmas, birthdays, Easter baskets, all of these things that we do for the little ones. I did them when my girls were growing up. You know, you're gonna go pick the pumpkin, you're gonna decorate, and you're gonna do all the things. But at the same time, thinking back, I wish that I did a little bit more on those occasions that I was able to find the budget to do those fun activities. Uh, Also, make a deposit into their high yield savings account, make a deposit into their investment account in order to be ready, be building money, be getting ready for the bigger things that are going to come up potentially. I know right now my daughter's in driving school. The car insurance is going to be substantial. Her having her own car, not having much earned income, it's gonna be another expense of me paying for another car to have car repairs, another car that needs gas in the tank. So, let me take a look. All right, well, I'm not seeing any more comments. Let me know if you guys have any more comments, and I hope that we all get June started off on a good foot, that we make a plan, take tonight, think about what strategies might be lacking in our plan and get on track to do better and get it started now. And then we can continue to build upon it as we get into the second half of the year. Now, I usually mid-year give like the countdown of, as we move towards Christmas and all these different dates that are ahead of us. But I can do that now too for those of you who do have larger families or do a lot of spending for Christmas. If you don't have a Christmas saving plan, think back to last year. Was it easy for you to handle all of the expenses, or did you have any credit card debt that carried over from your spending at Christmas? If you did, then let's do it different this time around and get started, figure out a weekly amount, and start putting that aside as we have many weeks in order to build up a little bit of a cushion in order to buy gifts, spend extra on all of the things that we need, the desserts, the decorations, and things that we might be incorporating that are outside of our regular spending. So, just here giving my update, sharing my journey throughout my videos, and giving you guys encouragement. I hope always that what I'm doing, it's not difficult, it's not hard. If I can do it, we all can. It might feel a little uncomfortable and a little bit out of the box to not be using the Bank of America down the road, to move over to using an online bank. But do your research, do what you're comfortable with, do make sure that you are with a reputable insured bank. Take all the steps, get started with investing, build up your investment accounts, but you don't have to, to no hype stocks. You don't have to pick anything. You don't have to be trying to catch the new greatest thing that you just heard about. We can invest into an ETF. We can invest into the names that we know. We can invest into, for example, Costco, Apple, Microsoft, and you don't have to have necessarily the worries and take on the responsibility that I was talking about of trying to navigate something as a trade and having to have your stop loss on and having to have that thought in the back of your mind of, could this investment, kind of go down to nothing? There's certain things in my portfolio I don't worry about, and I don't have to look at every day. And like, there are going to be times, we went through COVID, we're going through all this with this new administration right now, so there are going to be times where there's volatility, but at the same time, Um, some of these larger names, they're kinda easier for me to put under that sleep well at night category when it comes to my portfolio. I don't have to constantly worry about them, and that's overall what I like to have a lot of in my portfolio. I'm sure if I was to show my entire portfolio, you probably would know most of the names that are in there are, things that are common and familiar to us all. All right. So, guys, thanks for tuning in. And I will be back next Sunday with another Stock Talk episode. Now, let me see. Uh, Thank you for tuning in. As I said, always leave me comments, requests for things that you want to chat about on the Sunday lives, as well as things that you might want me to cover in my regular videos. And I appreciate you all for taking the time to tune in today. And I will see you next week. Stock it up, stock it up, stock it up.